You ever get that sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach when your boss sends you an email or calls you on the phone and says, "Hey, Randy, could you drop by my office real quick?" It's the same sinking feeling I get whenever I get pulled over by the police, and I don't know why. You know it's not a good thing when they pull you over because police never stop you and say, "Hey, I just want to thank you for being such a good driver. Here's a gift card to Denny's." That doesn't happen. So anytime the boss ever sent me an email or a message saying, "Hey, drop by my office real quick," the hackles on the back of my neck would stand up. This is also called an ambush meeting. Whether it's meant for good or bad intentions, you need to be prepared no matter what the situation is. This is the exact moment everything can change in your career in a heartbeat. I've walked into these meetings blind, not knowing what was going to happen, just fearing for the worst, but I've learned over the years to be prepared for it. I've learned the lesson the hard way. Going through multiple layoffs will do that to you. When you see your boss come in to work unexpectedly at 6 a.m. in the morning and he's never done that before, it kind of gives you a heads up that something's might be going wrong. So I've learned to keep my eyes open and keep my ears alert for any changes in behavior of my superiors or the people around me. It can also be a clue as to something's not quite right. When the office is normally chatty and suddenly gets quiet, something's up. Now, whether you realize it or not, corporations use these ambush style meetings to reduce the amount of panic that can be going on, catch you off guard, get you isolated so that if you are being let go, it minimizes the impact on the workplace. The people around you don't see you being escorted off the property, and everything on the surface looks normal, and the rest of the staff gets the announcement after it's all over with. Once you're safely out of the building, it gives them time to cut off your access, shut off your email, disable any of your security cards for access, things like that. They're prepared to give you a quick exit and hustle you out before you have a chance to have any type of emotional reaction. You're still confused, don't know what's happening, and that's what they're counting on. So when I've encountered these situations before, my first reaction is always to stay silent. Be as quiet as possible. Listen, don't talk. Don't try to defend yourself. Don't make excuses. They've already made the decision they're going to make. Nothing you can say is going to change that. You can only make your case worse. Now, if this turns out to be just a performance review that you weren't expecting or forgot about, that changes the situation drastically. But the main thing is you cannot rely on your manager's memory to keep track of all the accomplishments you've made over the previous time period. And you need to be ready to remind him things you've accomplished, the problems you've solved, the efficiencies you put in place that he has long since forgotten about. And if you're like me, you never wrote down and documented all those wins you had at work. You were hoping that your work would speak for itself. And that's a mistake I made multiple times until I finally figured out how to correct that by documenting my accomplishments at work and creating a work history so that whenever I sat down in front of the boss and he's doing a performance review or evaluating me for a raise, I can hand him concrete evidence of things I've done at work, the production I've increased, the efficiencies I've done, the problems I've solved before nobody even knew what was going to happen, and reminded him of how valuable I was in the workplace. That used to be a very tedious task for me when I would have to sit down at the end of the day and make a short note about the things I had done that were notable and things I wanted to use later on in case I had a performance review. But now, thanks to AI, all that has turned around. You can turn your favorite AI, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever, into your own professional career coach that will track all these things for you. Think of AI as your own personal assistant to keep track of all these important events and be able to recall them into whatever kind of format you want later on, whether it needs to be an email to your boss once a week to let you know what the situation is, the things you've accomplished, the problems that are holding things up at work, what your planned course of action is, and it keeps you visible in the workplace so he understands your value. In addition to being your personal assistant, AI will help you practice all those skills you need that AI can't replace in the workplace, such as judging and evaluating the output from AI to make sure it's correct and it fits the requirements you need. So think about AI as your super fast intern who's eager to please but lacks a lot of common sense. And this is where you step in as a manager, check it for errors, and make sure it's doing things properly. Squirrel, the squirrels are active this morning. Breakfast time for the squirrels. So in the spirit of AI doing all the heavy lifting and you doing the approving, I built out a prompt system in a single document. You feed it into your favorite AI, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whichever one you want, and it turns that AI into your own personal career coach, documenting all those skills and disasters you prevented. I only wish I had something like this back years ago, around 2014, when I was sitting in front of my manager doing an employee evaluation. He's asking me, how do I justify giving myself a 3 out of a 5 on my work performance? I was at a loss. I thought it was obvious. He'd seen me working for 5 years. He knew what I was doing. He knew he could count on me. But yet when I sat in front of him for the employee evaluation, I found myself having to defend myself to this guy who'd known me for so long and I thought was looking out for me. So this document is created specifically for AI ease of use. It's called the AI-proof career audit. 6 steps to automate the grunt work, document your value to the company, and make you indispensable to your boss. This is a completely automated system. You feed the document into your favorite AI, it becomes your career coach and documents your work history, asks you a series of questions. At each step along the way, it stops, asks for your approval. Do I need to change anything? Did I forget something? Those kinds of things. So you still are the human approver in the middle. Follows my philosophy of AI assists, but humans approve. It won't produce a final document until you approve everything. And the best part is it only takes about 5 minutes each time you do this. You can request it format an email to fire off to your boss. You can request a report, so if you need a hard copy or to store it online someplace. So drop the word puck, as in hockey puck, P-U-C-K, in the comments below, and I'll shoot you the link to that free document you can feed right into your AI and turn AI into your personal assistant today. Because